welcome to NPS Now, your source for news and information about Norfolk Public Schools. I'm your host, Karen Tanner, and I have two very special guests with me here today. I have Dr. Michael Cataldo. He is the Acting Deputy Superintendent for Academic Affairs, and we have Angela Demick, who is the Senior Project Coordinator in Assessment, Research, and Accountability, and we're here to talk about Early Innovation Research Grant and some other great things, KIBO also. So thank you for both for being on the show.
Thank you.
Great to have you today. We should be excited. We were chatting before the show, and I told her it's like Christmas for her. She's very excited about this new grant that we have. So Ms. Demick, tell me, we've been working with KIBO for a while now through the Operation Breaking the Code grant, but now we have a new grant coming up. Remind our audience what KIBO is.
So yes, we're very fortunate. We're in the second year of a pilot study working with Tufts University in our current grant, and we're actually using the engineering design process and KIBO robot to help students with the writing and reading process, and it's been a wonderful success. And as a result, we were able to with Tufts University apply for our Early Innovation Research Grant through the Department of Education last April, and just found out that we were awarded through Tufts the opportunity to partner into all 32 schools versus right now we're only in 8 of the NPS elementary schools.
How much funding is that?
It is a total of almost $2.9 million, and Norfolk will directly benefit almost $1.2 million of that grant.
That's a lot of money, but how long will it last?
It will last about 4 years, and we're excited that we get to do 3 different things. We're going to be focusing on a field-tested curriculum. So Virginia was the first state to pass computer science standards, kindergarten through 12th grade, and as a result, they're very interested in what Virginia's doing because almost 30 states have now passed some form of legislation so that all students will learn computer science. So what we're going to do is develop a field-tested curriculum in kindergarten through 2nd grade in all 32 schools. We're going to take 20 current NPS staff who are leaders already in their schools, train them with a graduate certificate program as early childhood technology specialists, and we're going to be using Scratch Junior and Scratch and the KIBO robot to help build a robust program. We're also going to be able to purchase some much needed iPads, and we're looking forward to developing a train the trainer model where we'll have not only focus on 15 schools for the first few years, but we'll be able to replicate into all 32 schools with that trained professional staff, that field-tested curriculum that we want to say that it truly represents STEM, because we know that students in early childhood are very curious. They see technology every day in their homes, and so we're able to take their curiosity and creativity, use the engineering design process, and help them to learn science, social studies, math, and reading in a fun, new, engaging way. And we're really equipping teachers with excitement about a new content area.
And I know our teachers are excited about this. So
Yes,
Dr.
they
Cataldo, how is the coding and KIBO working in our classrooms with curriculum?
Well, you know, first of all, coding is another language. So it's with that language acquisition that students have, it will help them not only in the coding piece in the computer technology area, but also in regular literacy, which is one of our key areas of focus in Norfolk Public Schools. So we really believe that these things working together in connection with STEM as well. STEM is another area of our focus, and you know, we're trying to help students. Education is not just coming up with the answer. It goes into more critical thinking and developing that thinking pathway, and we know coding can really help our students learn even at the earliest ages of kindergarten, 1st and 2nd. It can really help them be able to go through that whole process.
Yeah. So let's hear right now from a 1st grade teacher at Camp Allen Elementary School who's using KIBO and coding.
So I have to be honest, when we first started, that was really the challenge, right? It was trying to figure out how can I take this amazing opportunity and match it with everything that we do in the classroom. So the first thing is you think about, all the subjects that you teach every day and what you're teaching on that particular day in reading and math. So on KIBO, we're at the midway point. We are on lesson 7. And the kids have learned some of the basic blocks and what the programming blocks can do. So today's goal for the students was to understand that you have a beginning, middle, and end, and that you need Kibo to have certain sensors to be on the body in order for him to complete that coding process that they want. And then they had to make if you're wild and you know it, clap your hands, because we had read earlier in reading where the wild things are. So we took that reading lesson and we rolled it into our Kibo lesson, and the kids all got a chance to go through the infinity loop, the design process, and then they had to explain what happened in their process, how did they debug the problems, and then go back and do it again. So it's really trying to associate every little thing that we do with Kibo with, oh, how can I fit this with reading? And it's really seamless. It is not hard at all to kind of think about how else can I, marry this with the other subjects. I think if you get teachers to understand that this is not something separate from the rest of the curriculum, like this is directly tied to reading, to writing, to math, to English, to social studies. And I think if you're able to get this program in the hands of young children so that by the time they do get to those engineering colleges, how much better we're going to be at designing different things and different processes and different products. So for me, that is the excitement as a teacher, that they're going so much more beyond than what the initial curriculum is for Kibo, and it's endless. It is absolutely endless.
Hooray! All right, go ski. That is exciting, what's happening in our classrooms.
Oh, yes.
That is very exciting. I know parents at home watching this are like, wow, this is very interesting. So Angela, you mentioned tech leaders, like teachers like the one we just saw in this video. What kind of training will they receive?
Yes, so one of the biggest rewards we've seen from the pilot study is to see the engagement in teachers, giving them the tools to be able to engage in elementary computer science. And so they're going to actually, these 20 leaders will be put through a rigorous graduate certificate programs worth about $25,000 per person for about a year and a half, which will include a 1-week residency in Boston, where they'll get to culminate all of their learning and do some different special projects. But what's neat about it is these leaders will be able to equip teachers to show students how to not only consume the technology that we are purchasing, but become producers. In other words, we want kids to be able to not only tell us what they know, but show us what they know. We want them to be able to use those iPads that we purchase in all areas of content instruction, and that's where true STEM can happen, where kids can understand science, technology, engineering, and math all come together. So they'll learn important programs like Scratch Junior and Scratch, along with the Kibo Robotics program and some other tech tools. And this will give the teachers in all 32 schools eventually the skills and understanding to do elementary computer science, which is now a required subject in our state.
And those students look highly engaged and intense, like,
Yes.
I'm focused on what I'm doing, I got this. This is great. So how will our administrative curriculum team work on the curriculum with Tufts University?
Okay, great. Well, the state comes out with its computer science standards, and they've already come out with those. And as Mr. Mick mentioned, we're one of the first moving states in that area. So they're going to be working, our curriculum team will be working with that curriculum already established and working with Tufts University to see how we can integrate and really make this a hands-on experience for the students. So they're very excited about being able to integrate those pieces of the computer science curriculum into what students are doing day to day. And we really want to go from, this is K2 with the Tufts University, but we really want to branch out and create pipelines so this goes into the higher grades. Now all grades will have an infusion of computer science within their own curriculum.
It's going to be all areas.
All areas.
All
yeah,
areas.
All school, all K-12 students will have that infusion.
All content areas. That's awesome. So tell me real quick, how will this grant be implemented over the next 4 years? What type of training and phasing in will we have?
So we are very fortunate, and it's important to note that there were only 29 awards given nationally. So for Norfolk to get this opportunity, we are developing a field-tested curriculum for our state. We'll be the first that will be doing this, and we hope this is a model for the entire nation. So our plan is to begin planning in the spring, and we have already identified those 20 wonderful tech leaders that will begin training in the fall. And then we are beginning to put together with Tufts University a consultation team with Dr. Cataldo and the other executive leaders. We're beginning to talk about how it will look. It will probably be 15 schools will be our first plan of training, and then we'll actually have some of those leaders train the other 15 to 17 schools. So it will be an eventual rollout, and by the time we're done, we'll have a beautiful product that will be able to be not only presented nationally and different conferences, but shown as a model for what should be happening nationally.
Why is this grant important for Norfolk Public Schools?
Well, it's so important because it does that integration piece of coding, which we talked about as a form of literacy, as well as STEM education, which is what we're moving to in the future. That science, technology, engineering, and mathematics are just key parts. Right now, scientists have determined that we are right now at a deficit for the number of students that are able to get into the jobs that require computer technology. For example, there's over 1 million job positions available right now than there are the number of students. So the faster we can get our students really working with the coding piece, the STEM education, the more prepared they will be for their futures.
Will it give us an advantage, you think, for the new computer science standards that are required?
Oh yes, definitely. So we'll have an advantage being able to work with the computer standards and being able to have, again, more of the hands-on activities, working with the Kibo, highly engaging devices, and then also the iPads. So we're really seeing this technological revolution moving forward and being a leader in that, as Mr. Mick said, that we're not just sitting and waiting for other states to see what they're doing, but we're actually the leaders in this area. So right now in education, it's got to be different. You know, we have Alexa, we have Siri, we have Google, and so it's not about answers anymore. It's not just about who can get the correct answer. It's that thought process. It's the critical thinking piece. It's how to come up with the right questions and coming up with the right answers. That's what we're training, and that's what coding is doing and helping with, as well as STEM education. So ultimately, we want to prepare our students for their futures.
Yeah, because they were very, very engaged in that classroom. So you kind of alluded to that, but what is the ultimate goal of this early innovation research grant?
It's really important that just like when we taught reading, we taught the ABCs of reading, we must begin in kindergarten because that's the building blocks of creativity, of collaboration. We're looking for those 5 C's of a Virginia graduate, and we feel very fortunate that we get a chance to begin modeling, playing, developmentally appropriate screen-free device, and as well as using screens, because it's important when we tell the children, hey, do you know when you put your hands under that paper towel and it came out by itself, that's a sensor, and they can relate immediately, that's Kibo. Kibo has sensors just like what I just used in the bathroom at Camp Allen. And so that's just a really neat way because we want kids to make connections to their world, because technology will be their future. It already is a part of their future, but even more so, robotics will help innovate, not replace jobs necessarily, but innovate every job in some way, and we hear about it daily on the news. So also with Governor Northam having this Amazon the headquarters coming into DC. He's also just recently in the last week, it was in the paper about him awarding all these different grant opportunities to universities, including ODU and JMU and George Mason, for getting more STEM graduates, computer science graduates coming out of the universities. So that's good to see grant-funded scholarships that we hope our students get to be one of the first to apply for that because they're going to have the ABCs from the very beginning. And we're also hoping to build a scaffolded kind of a pacing, or if you will, framework where teachers can easily see how it goes all the way up from 2nd grade on once we're done. So it's very important that we begin at the very bottom and young ages.
So what do you think the ultimate goal is for the Early Innovation Grant?
I think very, very clearly what Mr. Mick mentioned is that whole focus is right now Tufts is K-2, but we want to develop this pipeline and really have it go all the way K-12. And starting off with the early grades, really getting the students engaged and helping them learn that critical thinking piece, and just taking that scaffold, that model and then implementing it as we continue further up in the grades. So students, when they graduate, they're already going to have those experiences. They'll be able to go right into these high-paying jobs that are dealing with computer literacy, coding, and it's all STEM related.
Yeah, so what an honor for us to have this grant and this opportunity. And I've had Kibo and coding already going on in our schools for our students. So thank you both for coming on the show and sharing this information with parents and the community.
Thank you.
Thank you.
for the opportunity.
And we want you to stay tuned for more NPS Now.
Congratulations to Maury senior Maeve Stiles, who won the Class 5 state cross-country title. Her time of 17 minutes, 58 seconds was 40 seconds faster than second place.
I'm beyond happy and I cannot believe it. I remember crossing the finish line. I was just so ecstatic. I can't believe that I'd finally done it, and I felt so much pride to be able to do it in the name of Maury and make Maury proud and my teammates.
Stiles, who was featured on an earlier episode of NPS Now, says a mishap in last year's state race was a motivating factor.
I do remember last year I was so upset to have fallen because I was in like 7th place and I felt good, but it kind of trips you up, when you fall. But this year, I remember going through that same point in the race and I was in my head, I'm like, I'm not falling this year. And so it kind of boosted my confidence to get past that point and still feel strong and not have fallen.
By being Maury's first ever state cross-country champion, Stiles hopes these Commodores are on the map.
Well, I hope that we can finally put cross-country as another pillar stone of a wonderful sport that we offer, because I know we have a great football team, great basketball team, and all of our sports teams are really well known across the district and now statewide. And so I hope that with this, everyone can see great job Mr. Bennett's doing. He's such an amazing coach, and he's really helped develop me as a runner. And I hope that everyone can see what a wonderful program we have at Maury and come and join it.
Chartway Arena was full of energy as thousands of Norfolk Public Schools 4th and 5th graders were on hand at ODU's Education Day.
This is an exciting time for the students of Norfolk Public Schools. We are having a great time with the Lady Monarchs. The kids are just so excited. They're dancing, they're singing along, they're talking to Big Blue. It is a wonderful experience for them.
Now in its 9th year, this event is a staple on the school calendar, thanks to sponsors like Tony Brothers, the Upton Brothers, Men of Hope, and Venture Tours.
We are so thankful for our partners. We could not have done this event without our partners. We have a variety of community partners who have sponsored tickets for various schools. We have transportation partners that have given us an opportunity to allow our children to be here. So truly it is the community coming together for our children. And at the end of the day, that's what it's all about.
ODU's athletic director, Wood Seeley, who attended Larchmont Elementary, says this day is special for all involved.
We have a great relationship with the Norfolk Public School system. It's very important to us because so many of our ODU students grew up in Norfolk, went to Norfolk Public City Schools. So for us, it's a way that we can get young kids thinking about college at an early age. For many, it might be the first time they've been on a college campus. It might be the first time they've been to a college athletic event. So to have 5,000 students here screaming for the ODU Monarchs, it's one of the more unique environments in all of college athletics, and we love doing it at least once a year.
Now let's take a look at some highlights from the middle school football championship between the Ruffner Bulldogs and the Lake Taylor Vikings. Ruffner won a hard-fought semifinal win over Norview 12-6, while Lake Taylor put it on Churchland 25-0. Both teams were undefeated at 6-0. Let's take a look.
You can't You got to hustle to keep that beat. Work hard. We want a victory.
With 1:18 to go.
Hurry up, get out! Come on! Black ball!
His total plays a first down Ruffner at the
Won the championship back to back. Let's go, baby! Let's go, baby! Let's go, baby! It's awesome! Let's go! Hey, look! Hey, yo, no!
We want to thank you for watching NPS Now. It airs weekly on WNPS Channel 47, or you can view us online at www.npsk12.com. If you have any great story ideas or events happening at your school, please be sure to email us at npsnews@npsk12.com. Again, we want to thank you for watching NPS Now.